Hi there, Debbie with Heavenly Healthy Gourmet. Thanks for joining me again. I am super excited to introduce Rick Wagner. He is the founder and CEO of Iden Inc., a manufacturer of liquid mineral supplements. He is also a Master of Science and Clinical Nutritional degree, actively involved in the day-to-day operations of his company, and he's always developing new products. How are you doing, Rick?
I'm just doing great, Debbie. Thank you for letting me be here with you.
Of course, this is great. And you also do your own consult with customers as well on the benefits and applications of minerals and diet changes. Sounds like we have a lot in common.
I think we do.
Yeah. Good. Well, I would love to hear, and I know everybody would love to hear about how you got started in your company and why minerals and all that good stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about your story and how you got started?
I can. Very, very briefly, I was in a totally different business 25 years ago, and one of my employees came to me one day and said, "Hey, Rick, I've discovered through my neighbor about this product called Silica that helps regrow hair." And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of hair on my head, and there wasn't then either. And so I started taking it. And at the same time, what I was experiencing, though, was osteoarthritis in my neck. Long story short, didn't regrow any hair, but it literally resolved the osteoarthritis in my neck, which I had been told by my physician was incurable. And I said to myself, I've got to let people know what this element really is, what it's doing. And then I started just really doing some research into what it was. And at that point, the product I was taking was made in Germany. And I initially reached out to the Germans to see if we could figure out a way that I could buy it. But it was so restrictive and it was so difficult to communicate with them. I decided we had to come up with a way to make our own here in the country. And so I got a hold of a chemist friend of mine, and it took us about a year to finally find the right raw material to use to make it work.
But I love that because it's that research of making sure it was exactly right.
Right. And it is very, very effective. We've never had one instance of any negative feedback at all from people. Sometimes people complain that they don't like the taste, but it doesn't taste. So I don't know, maybe they're very, very sensitive. But anyway.
So your neck completely was healed after a year of taking Silica, and the doctors wanted to put you on drugs. Is that right?
Right. Well, actually, what the doctors told me was there were no drugs that would cure it. Their recommendation was that I take aspirin the rest of my life, so that it would to take care of the pain. And then they said, if it really gets bad, we can go in and we'll scrape the calcium off of your vertebrae.
Oh my word.
I have a friend that didn't listen to me with regards to the Silica, and he had the same issue in his back, and he decided to let them go in and scrape. He now walks with a walker.
Oh boy.
Yes.
I know. I think people are very Western medicine, and they go to their doctor and they want to believe their doctor. And I always say, what's the underlying cause of what's wrong with you? These doctors want to spend 5 minutes with you and give you a drug, and it just doesn't work. I've been down that route for many years.
Right. Yes. I mean, all drugs do is either mask a symptom,
yes,
or block a bodily function.
They really do. It's true.
They're not giving you anything that your cells need to work the correct way. That's what the minerals do in the body.
I know. So you started this company. You bought a building. You were telling me the other day, you were telling me about your building you bought. It was 14 years ago now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it was all started with Silica. So tell me what else happened with that and how you kept getting more minerals.
Well, interesting. My chemist, there was another company out there at that point that was making a number of liquid mineral supplements. And one of the things that became very, very clear early on was that we need to get our minerals in a liquid format.
Yes.
And so I was buying my other mineral elements that we wanted to use and sell from this other company in Idaho. And my chemist took a look at this and he said, Rick, I think we can do this ourselves
Hmm.
and make all of these mineral elements ourselves. And he started working. He had just gone to graduate school in business and came back, and so I gave him a job. He was sort of a part-time chemist before.
Yeah.
He developed our initial line extension from the silica, adding magnesium, the potassium, the selenium, zinc, sulfur, and a number of other elements. And we basically start with mineral salts.
Okay.
But the importance is to get them in a liquid format so that your body doesn't have to spend any effort to break them down.
Right.
So when you take that dose, you know you will get all of it.
Right. It absorbs right into your bloodstream. And that's what I tell my clients is you're taking all these vitamins and all these pills, and they're just sitting in your stomach,
Right.
and they're not being absorbed. And
Yes.
I love that about minerals, and all of your minerals are all liquid. It's tremendous.
That's the optimal way to get it. In fact, when you look at where we normally would get them in our diets, we're either going to get them from the water we drink or from the foods we eat. And,
Right.
and it's not going to be meats. It's going to be vegetable matter and fruit matter. And when you eat that, you eat a tomato or an orange, you literally are juicing it.
Right.
And you're turning it into water.
Yeah. And a lot of times I find with my clients, they have so many absorption problems where they're eating a ton of vegetables, but they're not getting the minerals absorbed into their body. And that's why we have to supplement, right?
Yes. And so often, even when you eat organic, you are not getting a full complement of all the minerals. You have to ask yourself, what was in the soil that those plants grew in? And if the mineral wasn't there, you're not going to get it, even though that plant may be something that we know would deliver that mineral. If it isn't there, it's not going to deliver it. And this is a real big problem with the farming today, is that we monocrop. We grow the same crop on the same land year after year after year, and all we do to replenish the minerals is put in potassium, phosphorus, and nitrogen. Those three elements will make the plant grow, look healthy, have the right color and everything else, but it doesn't have any of the other trace elements that the body needs and that the plant needs. And so what do you have to do with that then? If you don't defend the plant with pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, those things will come in to try to recycle the plant because they know it's weak.
Right. And the people that are eating non-organic and GMO, they're probably getting more of the pesticides that are depleting minerals.
Yes.
So it's like this cycle.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. So silica is kind of like your baby. Can you tell us a little bit about silica and what it does for the body? I know for you, it sounds like it totally healed arthritis. I have people that have osteoporosis. A lot of women are dealing with that right now. And I always suggest silica because it regrows helps the bones. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes. Based on the research and my own personal experiences, it's my belief that silica functions in two primary, very, very significant ways in the body. The very first is that it's essential for the body to be able to reproduce and maintain collagen.
Yes.
Collagen is the material that holds every cell in our body together in the right place. The other thing that I've discovered that it does is it helps manage calcium. So if we have too much calcium, which we do, today we are getting 10 times the amount of calcium we ever got before and about 1/10 of the silica. When you get the silica back into your diet, you are able to manage even excessive loads of calcium, and either into the bone or out. Because if the body gets a lot of extra calcium without the ability to manage it, it won't hold on to it. It recognizes the importance of calcium,
right?
But it can't put it into bone. So where does it put it? It puts it into your joints, into your kidneys. In fact, when I was young, I always suffered from calcified stones in my saliva duct. I had to have one duct removed. Whenever I would eat, my neck would swell up because I had stones.
Were you taking calcium?
No, I wasn't taking calcium, but I ate a lot of dairy.
Yes.
So I had my cereal every morning with milk.
Oh, yes. And dairy's the worst thing you can have. And
it is.
a lot of people think they need to have calcium. And I always tell my clients, get it through your food. You know, you don't need to take calcium. It's not good for you.
Well, if you think about it, if you look at who actually developed the recommended daily allowances, who funded those studies, it was the dairy industry.
Oh, of
Yes,
course.
of course.
Get
And
some more
so,
dairy and put some more holes in your gut.
right. And then you ask yourself this question. Is there a mammal on the planet that drinks milk after they're weaned? No, none.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes. Where does a cow get all its calcium to put into the milk? From green grasses.
Grass fed.
Yes. Yes.
That's good.
So those two functions are the most important aspects of silica. I'm sure there are others.
Sure.
The other functions that it performs in the body, but those are the two most.
Yeah. And so I found that silica is not just good for bones, it's good for your skin, it's good for your hair. And it also is really great for, because I have a lot of clients that are dealing with leaky gut and SIBO and digestive issues, and they're the lining of their stomach is just ruined. So silica is really good with that too. Can you expand on that?
Yes, I can. Because of the fact that silica is important for maintaining collagen, a part of the collagen matrix of the body is the mucus lining of the GI tract. And what happens is without adequate levels of silica, we cannot maintain that mucus lining. So the first thing is then acid indigestion or acid reflux, because the stomach doesn't have adequate protection of the acids to the lining of the stomach. Mm-hmm. Then you've got throughout the small intestine and the large intestine and the colon, all of that area has to be protected. We're just a bunch of cells surrounded by skin.
Yeah. And we have to maintain them, and they all have to be in there. I always tell people you're born with this cushy shag, just really nice carpet intestines. And then you start putting dairy and gluten and all kinds of stuff, and then it becomes like a Berber carpet.
Right.
And it gets all rough in there. And so that mucus lining, it's just, you got to really protect it. And silica does that.
Yes, it's so essential all the way down. And the other part of it is, obviously we must maintain really good gut flora.
Yes.
In our GI tract. But when we take anything with antibiotics, it kills off the good bacteria, and then any refined sugars you get are going to feed the fungus.
They do. They feed the candida.
Right.
That brings me to, you have an amazing probiotic that you sell as well. That is for morning and night. Is that correct? Do you want to expand on that? Because I always have people ask me, what probiotics do I use? And for candida, specifically those that have stomach issues, what do you recommend?
The probiotic that we sell, we do not make it. It's manufactured by a company called the O'Donnell Formulas.
Okay.
And I've been taking it for probably 10 years now, and it has revolutionized my GI tract. And it's made of two components. So the first one you take is called Flora Balance, and this is from bacteria that's been derived from Iceland. Initially was identified in Iceland.
Interesting.
It acts like a prebiotic.
Okay.
It's actually a food for your resident bacteria, and then you take that in the morning, and then in the evening you take their ultimate acidophilus, which is just a number of really good blend of a number of strains of probiotics of the good bacteria. Then you take that to replenish anything you've lost.
Yes. So, it's so important, especially those that are on antibiotics. I mean, you take one antibiotic and it ruins your gut for life.
Right. Right.
Unless you restore it.
Yes. So, and I lived on them for many, many years until I really figured them out.
Me too.
Yeah.
I come from a Jewish background, and it's like, oh, you're sick, you have a cold, take an antibiotic.
Yes, yes. Oh, I would take it whenever I went to Mexico or any other country, because I was always worried about getting the turista, and so I would take the antibiotics. And never had a probiotic.
Right.
It really messed me up.
So why are minerals so important? I mean, we talked about why, some of these minerals we like, but I mean, is there anything you want to add to that?
Well, I think that we minimalize the significance of minerals. And what I always ask people to do is just look around them and ask themselves where they came from. And everything we are, everything that we see and feel and touch came from the earth. And the earth is just made of minerals. And so
We're made of water.
Yes, we are minerals and water. And
yes.
the water is a very, very important component.
Very.
But the this concept of, oh, well, we need this herb or that herb, or we need this vitamin or that vitamin, let's kill off this bacteria. It isn't what it's supposed to be. We should be well balanced in all of our minerals so that the cells can function correctly. We use them for structural. We use them to build our bone structure. All of our tissues are made from minerals. All of our energy is produced using minerals.
Yeah,
all
huge.
Nerve conduction, everything runs on minerals.
So if someone were to say, okay, this sounds great, how do I know if I need minerals? Does everybody need them, or do they need a blood test to find out what they need?
The interesting thing that one of the very first things that I was able to discover was the concept of hair mineral analysis. And
hair mineral.
Yes, hair.
Yeah. Okay.
And what the concept of using blood to establish what your mineral balance is not accurate, only because the body wants to maintain blood mineral homeostasis, or a proper balance at all times. So if you test your blood and you're out of whack in something one or another, it may be a momentary thing, or it may be very, very important to identify. The issue is, most often when you do a blood test, you're going to find you're normal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't reflect what's in your cells.
I love the hair idea because it goes right into your body. I actually did your hair analysis, and it's remarkable because it comes back and tells you everything you need. And then I just got your minerals. It was perfect.
Right, right. Because the other part of it is there are very, very few people that really understand how to interpret a hair test.
Yeah.
The lab we work with, and the gentleman that runs the lab, Jack Grogan, has been doing this now for over 40 years.
Wow.
And he started as a clinical nutritionist and started using blood. And he determined very early on that it's not accurate. It doesn't give you everything you need to know. And he went to hair, and then he followed a lot of the protocols of a Dr. Paul Eck. And unfortunately, he never got to write a book, but he had a lot of really good information on the relationships of the minerals in the body and how important it is to have them in a particular relationship for optimal functioning.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, so let's talk about some of these minerals. I love magnesium because it makes me sleep like a baby. That's one of my favorite. And like you said, doing the hair test is so cool in the fact that it just really shows you what you need. I also think symptoms are huge. When I work with clients, they tell me they have restless leg syndrome, or they're not sleeping, certain things. And I go, okay, you need this mineral, you need that mineral. And so I really go by symptoms as well. And because some people can't afford to do, even though it's really inexpensive with you guys to do the hair. Tell me some of your favorite minerals that you love besides silica, because I know that's your fave. And what they help people, because I know clients are going, okay, let's just say headaches, let's say foggy head, let's just kind of go into some of these symptoms and what minerals they would need.
And a big part of this is the lack thereof can also be the result of heavy metal toxicity.
Yes.
So, and we're putting together a protocol to get the heavy metals out, and so that then the minerals can even work better and optimally.
I do the same with my clients too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so magnesium, like you say, is a very important element. I mean, your heart cannot function without proper magnesium. Your muscles cannot contract and relax either without potassium and magnesium.
That's why people get like twitching, or they get restless leg, right? It's just
yes. It's all it is the nerves not being able to work correctly.
Right.
And that then tweaks off the muscles, makes them.
I love magnesium because it's so calming. It's that one mineral you want on a desert island.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Another one we've discovered that's really good for calming is lithium.
Okay, lithium.
Lithium it has been used in Western medicine for a long time in very, very high doses. Well, there's new research out that in low doses, maybe 2 to 3 milligrams a day,
Okay.
it's very effective at number one, pulling out mercury, but number two, it helps in nerve transmission and repair. And so if you're anxious or nervous or whatever, it seems to really, really help in the repairing and in particular all of these neurological issues we have now, the Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all this. It's damaged nerves.
Yeah, so this is really interesting to me. My dad deals with some of that going on. He's got some nerve. He had several root canals they took out his teeth. And ever since then, he has a numb tongue and a swollen lip, and he has all this nerve damage. And I wonder if that lithium would help.
I feel really good about the research that I've done and found. I didn't do the research, but I discovered it, and it's on our website. And so I highly recommend looking into it. I think that it may be something that is very, very significant, and we do make it now.
Along with B12, I know that's a big one for neurological stuff.
Yes, which then requires cobalt, the mineral cobalt, to work.
Is cobalt a mineral you sell there?
We don't. No, we do not make cobalt.
Okay.
But I mean, just to kind of digress a little bit, B12 is really interesting because what bacteria the body uses to make B12?
I don't know if I know that.
E. coli.
E. coli?
E. coli.
Oh, that's a bad one.
Well, it's only bad when it mutates.
Overgrowth. Yeah.
Yes, and what happens when we raise cattle in these pens, we feed them all kinds of foods that they don't eat, and we give them lots of antibiotics.
Yeah.
Totally messes up their gut flora and the E. coli in there, and it changes, and then they use that fertilizer for organic farms, and then they blame it on the bacteria. Yeah. So the bacteria is really important. But anyway, let's move on. We can go off on all that. Yeah, we can go off, and I could talk all kinds of subjects like that. But anyway, so the magnesium is really important. The other thing that I do with the magnesium is, it's very, very effective for headaches.
Yes.
And a lot of headaches are due to just dehydration of the brain. In the inability of the brain to be able to maintain good moisture and integrity. And excessive drinking actually creates that as well. It pulls out the magnesium and the potassium, and it dehydrates the brain. The alcohol dehydrates the brain.
Yeah.
So what we've done is I've put together a formula, an electrolyte formula. Doesn't have any sugar, any flavors, anything else. It's just made out of potassium, magnesium, sodium chloride, a little bit of calcium, and a little bit of chromium. And it's the identical thing you would get if you got an IV in an emergency situation in the hospital. And that will clear the head. Yes, it replenishes the mitochondria, liquids and the minerals in your brain, and you don't get headaches. Wow, that's phenomenal, because I know a lot of people struggle with that. Yes. Especially if they have arthritis and stuff in their neck as well, too. So. Once in a while, I'll get a wavy line in my eyes, and it's very disconcerting. And I know that it's just a lack of magnesium. So I take magnesium, and within 5 minutes, it goes away. That's phenomenal. It's a great mineral. It's so really. What's great about you is you have different minerals. So say you want to zinc, potassium, iron, you have them all separate. And I like that too, that they can order them separate if they just want to focus on certain minerals. Yes. I really love that about your company. What do you view as the biggest challenge that individuals face in keeping them from obtaining optimal health? I'm sorry. The biggest challenge in obtaining optimal health, I firmly believe that it is getting all of the minerals that you need in an accessible state. Okay. And in adequate levels. And the dilemma we face as humans is that that changes. That changes from day to day.
It does.
You know, we every day we're eating different foods from different sources, and so we're getting different levels. One of the things that we're looking at right now is well, with our minerals right now, we put only the individual minerals in purified water. So that water has nothing else in it but the minerals that we're putting into it.
Yeah, because some of these minerals I'm finding that might even have mercury in them. Is that correct?
Yes.
I mean, why would people be putting a heavy metal when you're trying to, you know, get rid of that? It's just
if you've heard of it's a compound that's used a lot for detoxification right now. It's made out of aluminum and silica.
okay.
Now the silica part is
But they
very
put aluminum
important,
in it.
but putting aluminum with it as something that's going to be helpful, I don't know. We need to be really, really specific as to what we're actually ingesting.
Right.
One of the things that people need to, what I tell everyone when I speak with them is make sure that you get daily a good broad spectrum of all the minerals as well as particulars that you might need. And I always recommend sea salt. So I say, throw out your table salt.
Yes, sea salt. And that's great for a headache too. I'll have my clients put some sea salt in water and down that, and that goes away. Their headache's gone in a second. So
yes. And so we've discovered a new sea salt out of Peru.
Yeah.
It's called Peruvian pink.
Okay.
It bubbles out of the Andes at 10,000 feet.
Wow.
Elevation. And the Peruvians down there are turning it into salt. You can go online and buy it right now. We're going to make it into a solution. So you'll be able to get a concentrated solution, put it in your water. We use it here now.
Oh, you do? So it's on your website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
But anyway, it's really, really interesting. But that's what people need to be remembering and thinking about, is to make sure not only that you start eating well, you cut sugar out, you cut refined grains, but you've got to get all of the minerals every day. And that's the best way to make sure that you're at least getting a good, steady supply.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 100% in. I try to take my minerals every day. It's so important. And I'm just so thankful that I found you and your company, and you're just making a huge difference in people's lives. And I wanted to come on here and just share what minerals are. I just think people can't grasp it. They don't understand it. And I would say most people don't take minerals. They don't really know what it means. So
Right. Your cells cannot function without a full complement of all the minerals in them. They do not work. And so many diseases out there are really, they're not something that you can catch. They evolve and develop in your body, and the only reason is because your cells are not functioning the way they should be functioning.
Right.
The reason is because they don't have all the minerals. You got all the proteins and all the fats and all the sugars, you just don't have the minerals.
Well, I mean, you go to the hospital, what's the first thing they give you in an IV?
Electrolytes.
That's right.
Yep.
So it's huge. I mean, that's the one thing the hospital is doing right. I don't know about the other things, but
yes.
So So is there anything else you want to add? How can we find you? Is there a website you can share? And so people can go to your website?
We're on the internet. We are located in Poway, California, just the first city north of San Diego. Our website is eidon.com, eidon.com. Okay. And I can also be reached. So if anyone has any questions about the products we make or how they might use them, I can be reached during the day. I talk to people every day. That's my main goal, is just to try to educate as much as I can.
Okay, one last question that I have that just came to mind. A lot of people are sick with the flu and they have these colds. What is a concoction of minerals that is your go-to when you're sick?
I have put together an immune support formula. And the issue is really support. It's supporting the immune system more so than worrying about one particular flu bug.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, we are constantly being exposed to bacteria, fungus, and
Yep. So
viruses.
infections, yeah.
Yes, every day of the year, whenever you take a breath, you are exposed to it. So what is creating the problem? Why are you getting sick? It's because your immune system is out of balance. So what I did was I said, okay, what runs the immune system? Well, zinc is incredibly important. It's the most important mineral element for optimal immune functioning.
Yeah.
So then from there, I said, okay, what is a good natural antibiotic? Silver is a very good natural antibiotic. Then though, what about the viruses? Because the antibiotics don't deal with the viruses. Well, there is an element that works very, very well in dealing with viruses. And what it does is it doesn't kill them. It just keeps them from being able to mutate. That mineral is selenium.
Yeah, selenium is great.
Yes, it's an amazing element. I mean, not only does it make your thyroid function correctly along with iodine, but it's really important. And your liver. Your liver cannot function without selenium.
It detoxifies your liver, and I have Hashimoto, so I use selenium every day.
Okay, so the selenium, what the research shows that selenium will keep a virus from being able to mutate. So and here's what happens when you get the flu. You inhale a virus, or you touch somebody and you get it somehow in your system. If your immune system is functioning correctly, they'll be able to deal with it.
Right.
But if it's not, if it's a little bit weak, then it starts changing. And then the body is trying to catch up with the changes in it. It's moving faster than the body can keep up with the mutations that it's making. Then all of a sudden it'll find one that just locks in. Right. And then you're sick. And so then what happens when you're sick? Well, you experience inflammation. So then I've got the zinc, the silver, the selenium, and then I added sulfur because it's a natural anti-inflammatory. Those four together work very, very well. I haven't been sick in 20 years.
I haven't been sick in about 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot of sugar. I know that's a big one.
Yes, it is.
Too, but I try to keep up on all that too. And I know it's remarkable. Tell me really fast about sulfur, because some people don't know what that mineral does. So,
and sulfur, our derivative of our raw material is MSM.
Okay,
methyl sulfonyl-methane.
Yeah.
And that is derived primarily, or it had been in the past, from the pulp paper manufacturing industry.
Okay.
And the raw material, not a raw material, but a byproduct of that process was a product called DMSO.
Yes.
Dimethyl sulfonyl-methane.
Yeah.
Which actually works really, really well topically.
And it works with heavy metals, yeah.
Yes. And so what they did, though, they said, well, okay, in order to make it so that it's something that you could take internally, they took out the methyl, and they just made it methyl sulfonyl-methane as a powder. And so that's what we use for our sulfur. And that is a raw material of sulfur. Okay, great. Yes. This is so educational. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about minerals, but now I feel like I could totally teach it. Well, we barely scratched the surface. We've got a number of other mineral elements that are really important as well. I know. Boron but now we're coming out with the phosphorus. Turns out that the current opinions on phosphorus is we get all kinds of it in our diet. Right. Well, I'm becoming aware that in fact we're not getting the amounts of phosphorus that we need in our diet. I believe it. What does phosphorus do for the body? Phosphorus helps with energy production. That's probably the most important. It is essential for bone health, teeth health. It's essential for every cell in the body. It's found in every cell, and it's a part of the primary part of the outside shell of the cell. It's also essential for our DNA and RNA to function correctly. It's replete. It's one of the major elements, but it's I think that a number of people are experiencing deficiencies in it. Oh yeah, I work with clients that are sick every single day, so this is just really educational. Now, when they go to your website and say they're really struggling with certain issues, can they go on there and kind of look and see what mineral that they may need? We're somewhat restricted by the FDA in that. And we used to have, in fact, we do. In fact, I'm updating it right now. It's the conditions, health conditions.
Okay.
And,
they can call you though too.
I can call, but we can give some basics. So we list like abscess, acid indigestion, acne, adrenal glands, alcoholism, anemia, aneurysms, and we can list the element that may be helpful.
Of course it's maybe helpful, and you never say it's a cure, but
right.
I think it's so essential for sure. So
well, and that's a really important point to address, is that there's nothing that cures you but you.
Yeah, and I believe in God, so I believe.
Well, absolutely, and that's our energy and our ability to be able to believe that we can get well.
That's right.
There's not a drug out there. There's not a vitamin. There's not a mineral. There's not a food that will cure you. It's giving you what you need to cure yourself.
Yeah, and I always tell people, you can take as many minerals and vitamins and eat organic and do all you can, but if your mental state is not good and your stress is low and you really have your mind under control, you're going to get sick if you have all the stress. So it's important to keep that very.
You are so right. It's a big package, isn't it?
It is a big package. We're a whole bio individual.
Yes.
So, well, thank you, Rick. I'm so excited. I will be posting this on Facebook and Instagram, and hopefully people will be wanting to get more minerals. So thank you.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time and the opportunity to spend it with you. And it's great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.